Should you draft TreVeyon Henderson in fantasy football this year? Well, let's talk about it. So TreVeyon Henderson is a new running back coming into the NFL from the 25 draft. He was drafted by the Patriots with an early second-round pick, and he's coming into an offense that really could use a little bit of a spark from him. Henderson came from Ohio State. He was never really a high-volume workload running back there. He did, however, have 3 seasons with 900 rushing yards and 3 seasons with 10-plus touchdowns. But last year specifically, even though he crossed 1,000 yards, he never had more than 12 carries in a game, which is, it's a little concerning. Henderson, we really do like to see large workloads because it provides a bit of a buffer. But there is a lot to like about Henderson regardless. To start the season, Henderson is going to be competing with Ramondre Stevenson for touches. I'm not the biggest Ramondre Stevenson guy, but I'm also not the biggest Ramondre Stevenson hater. I think that the honeymoon period where we thought he could be a top 15 back is over. He's kind of shown himself to be a middling back and maybe a guy that definitely would encourage you to bring in another guy like Henderson to split touches with him. I do think to start the year, though, we will see probably majority Ramondre Stevenson with Henderson out there on third down, since one of the things that people love to talk about TreVeyon Henderson is he's a really good pass protector. So he's good on third downs because you can either run or you can have him pass block, and it's hard to tell which one you're going with. Henderson does have a lot of other traits, though, that I think are going to allow him to win out over the season. Henderson has elite speed. He's great between the tackles, and he has pretty good pass catching upside, all of which would lend him to, over the course of the season, hopefully taking Ramondre Stevenson's workload. As I said before, Henderson is not a workload running back. He's never been a workload running back. And I do think that regardless of how well Henderson plays, I don't think Ramondre Stevenson is ever going to disappear. I think Ramondre Stevenson will always be there taking some amount of targets. And I do think that does, dampen a little bit of the hype on Henderson. But on the flip side, like I said, Henderson is super talented. He is just an incredible football player. So he might not need a full workload to be a productive back. And he's currently going as the 21st overall running back. So he's an RB2. So he may not, so don't need him to produce RB1 overall numbers. Although I do think that is, his ceiling is low end RB1. So I do think that Henderson's talent could allow him to, even on a limited workload, rip off big plays, be kind of like James Cook was last year, where even with a few limited workload, he's making those touches he does get count, and because of that, he is fantasy relevant. I think that the best case scenario for Henderson he becomes a 1A to Ramondre's 1B, but I think regardless, Henderson will have some base level of fantasy value this year, and I'm going to give him a grade of B-.